Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to Matriarch Astrology. I'm Miliana Reyes, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about Neptune in the birth chart. Now, as you can see in the title, we are going to be talking about Neptune in aspect. And the reason I want to focus on aspects mainly when it comes to Neptune is because Neptune is a generational planet. And what I mean by that is that Neptune stays in a sign usually around 14 years. So that means that everybody born within those 14 years all have Neptune in the same sign. So I was born in the early 90s. So everyone in my generation all have Neptune in Capricorn. So what we're going to mainly want to focus on is the aspects to personal planets. And I can put here a list of the personal planets, and those are the ones we're going to want to focus on when it comes to this generational planet of Neptune. Neptune in astrology is associated with the 12th house, and this is the energy of Pisces. And here we're seeing more of that mystical, spiritual, dreamy energy. It also can be a little bit of a fogginess, a haziness, and not being able to see things clearly. It is associated with sleep and sleepiness, as well as the dream world, illumination, and just connecting to that ethereal type of energy. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Neptune making an aspect to the sun in a birth chart. Now, I have personal experience with Neptune as I do have a tight conjunction with my sun at 1 degree. So I am very familiar with this Neptunian energy, especially when it comes to my sun. I was born during the Neptune-Uranus conjunction, and they both conjunct my sun very tightly. But Uranus for another video. So let's stay with Neptune and Neptune's energy by aspect. So let's go on ahead and get started. The first aspect we're going to be talking about is Neptune conjunct the sun. This alignment instills in a person's core identity a sense of enlightenment, intuition, spirituality, as well as creativity, as well as a connection to the spiritual or unseen aspects of life. This aspect often indicates a person who is very sensitive to their immediate environment. They're also very empathic and capable of making deep connections with others. Now, this aspect can make it a bit hard and challenging because the lines and boundaries can become blurred between that person's own sense of identity with the identity of others. And what I mean by that is if you're picking up on other people's energy, picking up on somebody else's bad mood, and then expressing that your own self, but really it is just that you are picking that up from other people. Now, there is another astrologer that did do aspects, and I love the word that he used. His name is Steve Judd, and he did use the word psychic sponge or walking psychic sponge. And when I heard that, that made so much sense to me when I learned this a long time ago. And being able to understand that we are like literal walking psychic sponges, where everywhere we go, we're soaking in any residual energy that was there, or if there was an argument or just people's own stuff that they have going on, we're able to quickly pick that up. So cleansing ourselves is going to be highly important. And I say ourselves again because I do have this aspect. Now, you can do this in a variety of ways. That could include taking regular salt baths, wearing a selenite crystal necklace, because selenite is a very cleansing crystal that cleanses the aura. Having it within your home is going to be very beneficial for people who have Sun conjunct Neptune. And I have little wands that I have placed above the entrance of my home and in every room before everybody comes in, because I do have children, when they come in, and before they're going into their own bedroom and stuff like that, in and out, just the flowing energy of the home is always being cleansed regularly. But I do have a lot of them placed right on the entryway of my home so that all that energy is cleansed as soon as we walk in. Also, being out in nature or just going to your backyard and putting your bare hands and your bare feet on the ground, if possible, is going to be very beneficial to help cleanse your energy. And if you do have a beach or a lake, any form of running water around you, then I think that going in and being able to immerse yourself within the water is very helpful, because it is also connected to water, the Neptunian energy, I mean. So being in the beach when I was a little kid was very cleansing for me, and I felt very energized after coming out of the beach. I didn't understand then, but I do understand now why that was so cleansing and so healing for me, because I was picking up so much negative energy around me when I was a child, that being at the beach was my way of being able to rid myself of that residual energy. So people with displacement might also find themselves drawn to the arts or the healing professions. And I can say that that is very true for me, as I have done sound healing and I've done Reiki, and I've also done a lot of more spiritual things. As you can see, astrology is a little bit more on the spiritual side, as well as art, as I do a lot of sketchbooking as well, with a lot of different art materials and mixed media. So I really enjoy that, and I found it very helpful when it comes to balancing my mental energy. Having this conjunction really calls for a journey of self-discovery, encouraging individuals with displacement to really delve into their own psyche and their spirituality. So being able to balance the ethereal, non-physical energy of Neptune and balance that with the more tangible, vital energy of the sun is going to be a really key theme here. So here are some helpful tips for people who have the sun conjunct Neptune in their birth chart. So the number one thing I would encourage for people with displacement is exploring your creativity in however way that you find fit for you. The art is going to be a wonderful way to express this energy in a very tangible and positive way where it can flow effortlessly. And that can be done through music or filmmaking, as well as other type of arts like pottery or anything that's creative. Now, as I mentioned, I do have my own sketchbook where I use different type of paints to create different images and illustrations that I really feel help my energy flow naturally and effortlessly. Now, when I did start incorporating this into my life, I felt like a part of me was activated in a way, especially since I did keep myself away from art, but I was always still very attracted to it. And I just didn't want to be bad at it. So I just never wanted to mess with it. But I would always look at other people and feel like I really wanted to do it, and I wish that I could do it, until I finally decided last year to just give it a go and not be so afraid and be okay with things not being perfect. So after I allowed myself to do that, I felt like I finally am allowing this Neptunian energy to flow in a more effortless way, if that makes sense. Instead of going through rocks in a rocky river, I've removed the rocks in a sense, and now the water is flowing a lot more smoothly as I prefer. So whatever type of artistic expression is suitable for you, just go on ahead and try to incorporate it, even though you might not be perfect, and even just doing it for fun, I think is very beneficial. Another thing you might want to incorporate here is being able to seek clarity and having open communication and clear communication with others, because this aspect could obscure your judgment or have you idealize a person or situation. So clear thinking and communication are going to be key here. So make sure that you have some trusted friends or counselors that can help provide a type of reality check. And I did mention before about grounding in nature, and that is going to be vital for people with the sun conjunct Neptune. Being outside and placing your hands on the earth and just spending time by bodies of water is going to be really helpful for people with Neptune. So having running water near you would be beneficial. So living by a lake or a stream or an ocean, it's not always attainable for all of us, but if you can, and if you're able to seek out a home that is close to one of those bodies of water, it really helps calm people with this aspect. And another thing you could do here is buy a little fountain off of like Amazon or whatever website. There's like fountains where you connect to an outlet and then it has that sound of running water. It really helps calm the nervous system for people with the Sun conjunct Neptune. Another helpful tip would be to get a lot of rest and sleep. I personally find that with this placement, it does make me a lot more susceptible to sleepiness. I'm trying to say this in a right way, but I feel like I'm a lot more sleepy and I get more lethargic and worn out, especially by being around a lot of people or when I go out into crowded spaces. As soon as I get home, I'm drained. I feel like I have to sleep and I have to rest. So make sure that you are prioritizing rest along with cleansing your energy with either being out in nature and grounding yourself or having protective crystals that really help cleanse your energy like selenite. Then that's really going to help with that feeling of sleepiness, because this is the energy of the sun, which is your vitality and your energy. And then Neptune's bringing in that sleepy, dreamy energy. So don't feel bad if you're always tired or if you need more sleep than others. Just give yourself the amount of sleep that you need in order to function. And I'm okay with that. Okay, next up we have Neptune trine the sun. When we see this aspect, it is like having a harmonious bridge between the realm of dreams and a person's core identity. So here we see a fluid connection between the person's ego and the higher spiritual or creative dimensions. So here with this placement, we see a natural tendency towards empathy, intuition, as well as being sensitive to the feelings and energies around them. These people are highly imaginative and can be attracted more to the arts or anything spiritual like tarot cards, psychic type of work like mediumship, things like that. Or even people who research dreams or research sleep. I have seen before that there are people who work like in case studies and researching on sleep and different type of sleep cycles, stuff like that. So the trine aspect really fosters an easy flow of creativity and imagination. This really helps people with this aspect to manifest their dreams with greater ease than other people, let's say, especially if it has to do with the arts or if they're trying to do something in their career or their work when it comes to the arts or anything related to painting or photography, filming, those type of fields, and spirituality as well. Their optimistic attitude and ability to see the good in other can really be like a lighthouse for others. However, with Neptune, it's always important to stay grounded because the lines between Neptune are always very blurred. You can easily go into illusionment or not being able to see things clearly. So practicing these type of grounding techniques are going to be vital for every Neptune aspect. People with Neptune trine their natal sun have a natural gift of gentle strength, as well as that spiritual connection to universal energies, which acts as a guide for them to inspire and heal through their own unique expression. So here are some tips in order for you to navigate this Neptunian waters when you have Neptune trine the sun. A great thing to start off with would be to learn to embrace your intuition. This aspect really gifts you with strong intuition and the ability to connect to the spiritual realms. And not only the spiritual realms, but also the creative realms. So make sure that you are trusting your instincts, especially when it comes to energies, people around you, and situations. Whatever doesn't feel good, and that first initial instinct that you get, trust that, because this is a very harmonious aspect and you have a very strong intuition, so believe that. And as always, for every Neptunian aspect, you want to practice mindfulness and meditation. And this can really help strengthen that intuitive muscle. Your second tip would be to channel your creativity. So make sure that you are dedicating time to whatever creative activity that you are drawn to, whether it's art, music, dancing, or writing. Either way, it is important to dedicate time to those creative pursuits or hobbies, because it's really fulfilling when you're able to express yourselves in that type of way when it comes to having this aspect. And it can be incredibly fulfilling when you're able to channel this energy, because it is a type of self-exploration and expression. So we don't want to hinder that. If you feel like you don't have enough time, please try to carve out even 10 or 5 minutes just to be creative before starting your day. It really does help and make a difference when you're able to express yourself in that way. And although this energy is lovely, the trine aspect is very harmonious. It is associated with Jupiterian energy. We still always want to practice grounding when it comes to any type of aspect with Neptune. So make sure that you are practicing and grounding yourself. And this could be through earthing or through yoga, or just doing some type of practice that helps you ground yourself, and even having a spiritual counselor or just a regular therapist that helps bring you or keep you a little bit more in the tangible world, because we can sometimes drift away into fantasies when it comes to the Neptunian energy. Next up, we have Neptune sextile the sun. So here we see a glowing beacon of imagination and creativity in one's own personality. So people born with this aspect can have an innate ability to tap into the spiritual and tangible worlds. And here we see a heightened sensitivity towards the arts, mysticism, music. So having this sextile aspect is considered more harmonious, suggesting that people with this placement can naturally integrate their visionary inclinations with their sense of self, which really leads to a balanced expression of both. These people can be seen as naturally empathic and empathetic towards others' perspectives and others' opinions. But with every aspect, even though this is a wonderful sextile, we still have some helpful tips to navigate this energy. If you have this aspect, please make sure that you are embracing your creativity and practicing any form of artistic expression, whether that's through art, music, or writing. Either way, we do want to make sure that that energy is flowing in a harmonious way. Regularly engaging in creative activities can really be a therapeutic way for you to express and explore your emotions. Another thing you can do is also explore spirituality, and whichever way you want to do that, it's up to you. It could be through astrology or through tarot. It could also be through psychic work or working in the dream world or with mediumship. Whichever way you want to explore spirituality is up to you, but making sure that you're tapping into that energy so that the connection between the sun and Neptune is expressing itself in a more positive, influential way, and the energy is flowing a little bit more easier when we are working with these Neptunian type of topics, which has to do with spirituality and the arts. And last, you want to set strong boundaries, because the harmonious sextile between the sun and Neptune can make you more overly sympathetic or compassionate towards the feelings and emotions of others. You want to make sure that you are still setting a strong boundary when it comes to your own energy and taking care of your energy as well, and not absorbing yourself too much in the problems or the energies of others. And another word I want to use here is overwhelmed. Even though I don't have a sextile, I do still feel that Neptunian energy sometimes could be a bit overstimulating or overwhelming. So sometimes when you are not setting really strong boundaries, it could be overwhelming to deal with the emotions and energies of other people. So make sure that you are putting yourself first always. Next up, we have Neptune square the sun. So here we're going to see both challenges as well as opportunities for personal growth. This aspect represents a tension between both ego and the self, which is both represented by the sun, with the world of dreams, illusionment, and spirituality, Neptune. People with this placement may find it hard to distinguish the difference between reality and fantasy. And this can happen with frequent occasions where they feel disconnected from reality or disconnected from their true selves. They may also deal with issues when it comes to self-esteem or self-identity, sometimes feeling like they don't know who they are or where they fit into the world, because the hard aspect here with Neptune can really cloud their perceptions of their capabilities. However, this aspect also bestows really strong imagination, as with all Neptunian aspects, as well as a deep sense of empathy and compassion and strong intuition. Those with Neptune square the sun have a strong inclination towards the arts and the artistic realm, whether it be through writing, film, photography, all those creative outlets, as well as spirituality and the healing practices. They're often drawn to roles or professions that allow them to care or nurture for others, or anything that allows them to explore the metaphysical realm. So the key to harnessing the power of this aspect is grounding oneself in reality, while still allowing room for creative expression, creativity, and the exploration of the spiritual or metaphysical realm. This will allow a more harmonious flow for that creativity and intuition to flourish. So by achieving that balance between grounding yourselves in reality while still expressing yourself in the mystical, artistic realm is really going to be crucial. So that can really help transform this harder aspect into strength and inspiration. So as always, I do have some helpful tips, and here are some helpful tips when Neptune is square the sun. Learn to use your intuition would be the first one for me. Grounding is not too far along, but learn to use your intuition and to trust your gut instinct. So in difficult situations, make sure you are trusting your instincts and your inner voice and listening to your gut and what feels good and what does not feel good initially. And this can be in a lot of aspects of life when it comes to decision making or when it comes to relationships. Make sure that you're going with your gut feeling on what feels good and what feels not so good, and trusting something that feels off. So meditation, journaling, and expressing yourself creatively can really help you connect with your intuition, as well as a really great therapist that can help you see through things that might be a little bit more foggy and you're not able to see things clearly. So I do encourage having a psychologist if that's something that you're able to have, or work with some type of counselor or therapist. I think would really help with this type of aspect with people who have it, of course, if that's something that you're able to do. Setting clear boundaries, of course, is with every aspect that comes with Neptune, but especially this one, I would want to say that setting clear boundaries is going to be very important. So maintaining a strong sense of self is going to require you to say no to others, and learning when to say no, when to prioritize yourself, knowing your limits, and also prioritizing your own well-being. Although we always want to help and assist others, it's always important to help yourself first. Like they always say in the airplane, you want to make sure that your mask is on first before you try to help anyone put their mask on. And if anybody's been on a plane, then you would know that that's something that they mention. So not only just physical boundaries, but also emotional boundaries. If you know that somebody is extremely emotional, or they have outbursts, or they're a bit too aggressive, maybe even though you want to help them, you need to know when to step back and not try to always save everybody, and knowing that your own well-being is important, because Neptune's energy can always soak up other people's energy as well. So you want to make sure that you're not taking in other people's emotions or other people's energies into your own auric field. And also make sure that you are helping this energy flow in a creative or expressive way. Neptune's energy wants to express itself in those realms of the arts or spirituality or mysticism or dreams. So make sure that you are taking time to explore your creative hobbies. If you just want them to just be hobbies and you don't want it to tie into any type of work, just make sure that you are taking the time to explore whatever creative activities you are interested in, because this is really going to allow that creative energy that might be stuck or a little bit harder to express itself with the square. And this really helps that energy move along more smoothly. And this can be very therapeutic and helpful. So even though the aspect is a harder aspect, there still is opportunity for growth and enlightenment with this aspect. And as always, ground yourself with all Neptunian aspects, making sure that you are taking time to ground yourself in nature, physically touching the ground with your hands or your bare feet on the ground for at least 10 minutes daily if you can be very helpful to navigate with this energy. Next up, we have Neptune opposed the sun, or Neptune opposite the sun. So often people with this placement are stuck between their desire for a sense of self and also the desire for something outside of themselves, something higher connected to the spiritual realm. There's just like a natural desire for that otherworldly experience when it comes to this aspect. So people with this placement may struggle seeing themselves clearly, which can make them feel lost or like others don't understand them. On the plus side, this aspect can allow them to really understand deeply how other people may feel. They also may have really strong creative abilities, whether that's through the arts, dance, or drama. Either way, we're still tapping into the creative arts with this aspect, and we still might be able to see here a deeper connection to the spiritual realm or metaphysical like topics, or if not, just the emotional parts of life. So people with this placement are going to need to find a balance between their material life with their spiritual or creative impulses. So as always, I'd like to give some helpful tips for this type of energy. And the first one I'd like to mention is practicing a type of self-reflection. And you can do this by setting aside every day a time for meditation. However way that you find meditation works best for you. You can do it by scripting or just writing in a journal and expressing and really being able to just write down the things that you feel in order to be able to reflect on them later. This really helps you get in touch with your thoughts and your feelings, because maybe in the moment they might be too hard to deal with. So if you write them down and you get into a more calmer state later on, you can come back and reread that you wrote down and be able to approach it with a more clearer mind, if that makes sense, when you're able to look back and reflect on situations or emotions that you were having previously. So with all Neptunian aspects, I always say that allowing this energy to flow is always going to be important. So make sure that you are taking time out to do creative things or to take a course or class that allows you to express yourself creatively, whether it be through pottery or through art, music, film, or photography. Just allow yourself time to really express that creativity, and that way it doesn't stay obstructed within yourself, and you are allowing yourself to play and have fun and just use that energy in a positive, productive way. And finally, having Neptune oppose the sun can make you more caring and optimistic. So make sure that you are allowing yourself opportunities to also volunteer and to help others in whatever way you feel is best and suitable for you, so that you're able to express that energy and not hinder it in any type of way. This can really help you build meaningful and deep connections with others and really help and aid those around you. Of course, always keeping your boundaries strong and knowing when to say no is always important as well. So just do this when you feel intuitively called, and make sure that you're always cleansing your energy and your space and keeping your boundaries strong between your energies and the energies of others. Well, there you guys have it, Neptune in aspect with the sun. As in all my videos, please remember that these are all very general, as I do not have your own personal birth chart in order to give you a detailed analysis of your birth chart. So I always suggest that you get a birth chart reading with either myself or another astrologer. I will be doing a video on Neptune on the other personal planets as well as the angles, so that you guys can get a little bit more information on that. So until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.